So anyway, two people, Deanne and Rebecca, were in my very first intuitive life coach training. And so I'm going to have you to kind of tell what your life was like before, what your life was like, what your life looks like now, and what your moment was when you realized that this stuff works.
Wow, yeah.
And she goes, that was a long time ago. It just works.
Yeah, so my life before was what I call...
Maybe go up a little bit so they can see you.
In the front?
I'm not blocking them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Hi.
I love it.
My life before intuitive life coach training was what I call normal. And now I'm weird. No, but seriously, I was on a path of discovery, and I didn't really know what I was looking for. I had a series of events and traumas and tragedies happen in my life, and so I was just in search of, and so I thought, I'm going to be a life coach. And so I took a online life coach training certification, and I was kind of in the beginning to middle of it, and it just didn't resonate with me. And during that time, I was listening to the Unlimited Abundance Journey that Christie has, and my husband and I were both listening to it. He actually told me about her and said, hey, you got to listen to this chick, she's really cool. And so I did, and we both did the UAJ, and then she offered intuitive life coach training. And we both went back and forth and said, well, you do it. No, I'm not going to do it. You do it. I'm not going to do it. You do it. My husband said, listen, you do it. This is your journey, and this is what you're all about, and this is who you are. And I went, oh my gosh. So I signed up immediately. There was just no question. And from that point on, I went through the training, and my first aha moment was at the live events when I really realized that I could do this, and I started reading people. And it was like the weirdest thing for me because I thought I was making this stuff up, right? We all think we're making it up. Am I making it up? And I learned that I wasn't making it up, that this was my spiritual gift. And from there, my life just expanded into this amazing realm of coolness. I mean, so many cool things have happened to me, and I can go on and on and on and tell you what they are. But my relationship with my husband, we've been married for 27 years together for 35 years. So you can imagine, right? And our marriage is stronger now than it ever has been before. My children are amazing. My daughter is intuitive also. My son is too. But she's my little sage. I call her my little sage. And my relationships with other people, my financial, my career, my health, my wellness, everything has just exponentially improved. And I'm just so grateful for Christie because I can't tell you guys how much that this training changes your life. If you want to go into something dirty and come out of it clean, go into the wash machine and come out sparkling clean, like OxyClean, with the little sparkles. This is the way to do it. So that's my story, and I hope that you all take part in intuitive life coach training, and I can help you all, like Cindy and all the other coaches did and Christie did for me.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. All right, thank you. So just tell us a little bit about what happened, what was your life like before, what are some of the cool highlights that happen now, and did you make more than the initial investment you made from all the cool things you manifested?
Oh yeah, I actually wouldn't be able to tell you. That probably is like a gazillion %, like 1,000%. I used to work in a bank. And I don't know if anybody works in banking here, but I used to feel like I had to put armor on each day to go to work. I remember crying down the phone to my mum one night. I'd just come out of a divorce. I had all the trappings of success, like I had a great job and I had good friends, but my relationships, like romantically, were a mess. And I was engaging in some really toxic behaviors, like a lot of drinking and smoking, and I could get really vulnerable here, but we haven't got all day. But it was not good, like it was a facade, like everything was okay on the surface, and underneath I was a mess. So I came across Christie's work and started with Love or Above, I believe, and then went on and did Unlimited Abundance. And in doing the intuitive life coach training, which was incredible, I think the first aha moment I had was when I was helping somebody in Sweden. It was kind of just a practice, and I didn't want to do it. It was 9 o'clock at night. I was tired. I was in a lot of resistance. I was really nervous that I was going to make a mistake and stuff it up. But I picked up that her father had a drinking problem, and she had never told anybody that in her life. So for most of the session, she just sat there and cried, and I just held space for her. And the very clear message when I got off the call with her was, it's not about me. It's not about me. It was about me getting out of the way to be able to hold space for somebody else who needed it. So again, like Deanne, just a massive explosion since then. I am very proud to say, I remember one of the coaches saying that they were an amazing manifester of money, and I'm pretty phenomenal at it too, as you saw in the video. And it's so much fun to ask those questions and then to have that kind of money show up, that kind of abundance. One little story that I wanted to share, because it does tie in with the last event. I actually said to Christie and Terry last time in San Diego when I was there that I really wanted to meet David Duchovny, and I actually met him in February, which is so cool, you know, like I had a really like, oh my God moment, because of course I knew that I had manifested it. So how does it get better than this? If anybody's considering doing the program, please jump in. It is life-changing. You know, again, those champagne bubbles that we're talking about, it's totally possible for you, and your soul knows it, and that's why you're here. So please say yes to your yes.
Okay. Awesome. Woohoo! I didn't know that there was a song, David Duchovny, Why Don't You Love Me, until Rebecca told me about this song. And then I had to go Google it. I'm like, okay. It's hilarious. Okay, so I'm feeling like Ken. What do you feel like, Ken? All right, Ken, tell us a little bit. Step in the X. Okay.
Hello.
This is Ken. So tell us what your life like was before and how you kind of got into this and what's it done for your life.
Sure. I knew Christie's work about 3 years before I took her class. A friend of mine took her class and got me started into the group clearing events and the online efforts. And just like I'm sure some of you feel, after a while you think to yourself, I have to meet this gal. I have to meet this person who changes people's lives. And I did, and when the call came out in I guess May of 2015, before your second class, as soon as it came out, I signed up and came and spent the weekend just like you are right here. And the friend that had gotten me into the program was sitting there with me, and when Christie made the offer to join the training class, and she looked at me and she said, so? I'm there, cool, I went. I'm a giver. I've always been a giver in my life. I've lived a life of regimentation, military, government, always having to be somewhere at some time on somebody else's schedule than my own. Having to do things for people, do things with people, but always for someone else's goal, never for my own. What I learned from taking the class with Christie was that before I could even begin to help someone else use their intuition to make things better, I have to fix myself. And that's what her class did for me. It fixed myself. It taught me how to pull into my intuition and make life easier for myself so that I could share that with other folks. We're not telling other folks what to do. We're sharing our experiences and how our intuition works so that their intuition can work in the same manner. And it's changed my life forever. I live a life of gratitude now. I live a life on my own schedule. Sure, I have those mechanical things that you have to do to satisfy your work requirements and get paid every week and so forth. But now I do it with a lot of happiness. I do it with a lot of goals of my own in mind. I make time for myself because you have to do that. You have to make time in yourself to clear. You have to make time in yourself to be happy and do the things that you want to do and not what somebody else wants you to do. Nobody controls your life but you. And that's what that course taught me. And I'm going to take that forward when I retire into something called intuitive life coaching. That's what we're looking for. Thank you.
Awesome. Woo. All right. All right. See, I want you guys to get kind of a flavor. Like, we have different professions here, and we got a couple, like an ER doctor, another doctor. We have like moms and realtors and business entrepreneurs and all sorts of kind of cool things. So I'm feeling like Maria. All right, Maria, just kind of tell us what your life was before, and what your biggest kind of aha of the whole thing was, and what your life looks like now.
Okay. My life before was fairly stuck. I'm a physician working in a hospital, and I did the same thing over and over every day for many, many years. And after a while, you feel like, okay, I'm helping to heal people, maybe. And then I told myself I've got to get beyond this. And I did the ILCT training because I got exposed to Christie, I think initially in the Love or Above course. I thought that was quite amazing, and I felt that Christie was the real deal. She was truth. To me, she was truth. So when she offered the ILCT, I took that, and since then, amazing things have happened in my life. I'm fairly unstuck from hospital. I'm doing stem cell research and, helping people heal themselves using their own cells to heal conditions that were fairly incurable. Incurable per Western, traditional Western medicine paradigm, So it's amazing because I feel so blessed to see miracles after miracles after miracles, which I thought were not possible. And then I felt was possible after I healed myself going through some process. So then I went through that path of how do people heal themselves, And then that led me to the ILCT stem cell and this project now that we're doing. So my future, I think, is very positive because it's not only helping people heal themselves, but helping them rejuvenate and set the time back to hopefully their original blueprint. And it gives me goosebumps just talking about it. But I think it's a possibility for the human race. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. That's so cool. I mean, that's profound, right? All right, Kane. All right, can you tell us a little bit where you were and what's happening now?
Yeah, absolutely. First, I want to say that I'm so excited for everyone sitting in the audience over here, because just over 3 years ago, I was in the same audience, and look where I am now. So actually, I was probably, I can't say for sure, but even worse off than where you guys were. I had left my job. I had been a portfolio manager for over 7 years, trading between $50 and $200 billion every single day. And I decided I was going to leave that job. And when I left, I made an interesting investment that ended up losing my entire life savings. And that left me in a position where I had zero money in the bank. I had all my credit cards maxed out, and I had a very high limit on my credit cards. And I had no gas in the car, so I was literally stranded at home, just where I could walk. And I was eating out of my emergency earthquake supplies. So that's when I was introduced to Christie's work. And I liken that part of it to winning the lottery. So for me, what's really important is to have something that is repeatable, that I can rely on and use over and over and over again. So the trouble for most people with the lottery is you can't win the lottery again and again and again and again, right? So most people who win the lottery, they end up worse off a few years down the road because it's not repeatable. They can't win the lottery again. But going through the intuitive life coach training and working with Christie, I do have that power. I have that power to repeat it. This amazing thing happened in my life, but now I get to repeat it every time I need it. So I just have to tap into my power and just make it happen over and over and over again. So things that have happened since then is obviously I'm not homeless. I have several businesses that are profitable. I met my wife and I'm married to her, obviously. I have 2 beautiful stepchildren, and for me the best part is using these tools for my relationships. Because as we all know, it's like when your blocks come up, you just blurt out whatever triggered you. And whatever that triggered you is not necessarily what is really there. So when my daughter blows up on me or when my wife says something that I don't like, I am intuitive enough to say, hey, that's not really what they're saying to me. There's something over here that I should listen to that. There's some unmet need, and she's unable to express it to me right now, but let me feel into it. Let me speak to that need, and we can move on, and we can all grow from the situation. So it's really been a big, big blessing for my life.
Wow, that's powerful. Thank you. Thank you. Isn't that amazing? I mean, it's like using your super sleuthing skills. I love that. Okay, Annie. Are you shy all of a sudden? You're not shy. Annie's not shy. All right, come on, Annie. Tell us.
Yeah,
she has
actually,
like
I'm
cool
kinda shy.
stories. Annie's got really amazing stories. So, I've watched her life transform. So, tell us what your life was like before and what you've now moved into.
So, my life before was just kind of muddling along, moving along. My day job was that as a nurse in a busy emergency department. So I felt rather fulfilled because I could make a difference in people's lives every day. But it was the same old stuff, and it wasn't really permanent, and it wasn't really fixing, helping them understand what was going on. And I realized that's what was going on inside of me. I kept putting Band-Aids on things. And so I had taken a bunch of courses. I was searching. And then I came across Christie's work. And I did The Lover Above. And then I went to this live event that she did in Southern California, Huntington Beach, like 4 years ago. And I wasn't really sure, is this the real deal? Is this really work? And I had a conversation with her, and I said, I've got this stone in my chest, and I think this is what it is. And she said, no, that's not what it is. It's from this, not that, and let's fix it. And all of a sudden, my chest went, and it was like, and I burst into tears. And I'm not a weepy kind of girl, okay? So the tears are streaming down my face, and I said, holy shit, this really works. So it was a real easy choice for me to do the intuitive life coach training, an even easier decision to make the advanced one. And the money just appeared. And now, in learning to use my intuition, I feel I perform at a much higher level. I'm able to receive better, which for me was a little bit of a problem before. Okay, and my relationships with my children are so much better because I have figured out, wow, how does all of that work? And I credit that to Christie's classes, and I am just so grateful. So, thank you.
Oh my God, I didn't know that story. Oh, no. I love that. I know, yeah. That's so cool.
Thank you, yeah.
Drive-by healing. Who wants to do drive-by healing? Yeah? Come on, Julie. All right. So tell us what Could you talk about your relationship where you're at a little bit? Is that okay if I put you on the spot? Like kind of where you were before ILCT and then what happened like through all that?
Are you talking about my marriage?
Yeah.
Oh, I am married. And the thing is, I was married for a while, and I felt like I got tricked because I didn't know I was intuitive, but when I met my husband, I literally saw the word husband on his forehead. And it was at work and in an ER at 4 a.m. And I thought, oh, I wonder whose. And then 2 weeks later, we had been dating, and he said, will you marry me? And I said, the answer is not now. But we've been together ever since, and it's 30 years this year on September 3rd. And, but here I was going along in my life, and it was pretty difficult situation, the relationship, not because of anything other than parallel paths, disapproval, what's wrong with you, why do you like that weird stuff? And I kind of got to the point where I do not care what you think, I'm doing it anyway, so kind of like, and fortunately, in my wanderings to figure out what's with me, like, why am I so weird? And why can't I be normal? And also, why don't I feel love? I found Christie, and then Christie said those magic words. Who do you think I go to for help? Cindy. Those are magic words. You should pay attention to them. And Cindy really helped me move up.
Yeah.
And the first thing she said to me when I worked with her, I may have said I wanted to work on my marriage the first session. And we did a little bit of stuff, and she said, you know, you think you need to make a decision right now? Because I was really thinking about walking, and I didn't see how that was possible. And she said, you don't have to make a decision right now. There's absolutely zero urgency. And all of a sudden, I just kind of went, and she said, what you need to do is make yourself happy. And I was hooked. And literally, that first session, after it was done, my poor college-age son had had this big head injury, and he was home very, very, very angry about it because he had to leave school, and I was always checking on him, and he'd always crab at me, and I went upstairs after this session that I didn't really know what happened because, you know, Cindy was just doing her thing, and he went, rah, 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 and I went, and I said, I do not laugh. What is happening to me? So slowly and surely, I'm raising my vibration, and it became much more easily to see the man that I was in the home with as another being that wasn't just there to torture me. So, and I'm not kidding. I mean, there's still things that we need to do, but I'm just super glad that we're still in the same family together.
That's cool. Give her a hand. I love that. Thank you. This energy stuff really works. Okay, I feel like I'm going to put one more person on the spot. They're all like, Rochelle. Are you? Yeah? Okay. All right. All right. Yeah, and then did you make more abundance than the investment? That'd be cool too.
Short answer, yes. So I've talked to some of you guys, and you just saw my video, so you kind of got the short answer of how I ended up with Christie. And basically, I've been on this journey for a long time, and not really finding, you know, what I was looking for, but always knowing that there was something out there that I was missing. And so getting to the point where I was so pissed off at everything that I shut the world out, if that makes sense. Like, I was in Seattle, and I was doing all of this stuff and in front of all of these people, and it was busy, 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 and I was just accumulating so much energy that I just didn't know what to do with it all, and all I wanted to do was get out. And so I packed my stuff one day and I moved to Montana, and I had enough clients to basically pay my bills, and I shut the world down. And then I built my energy back up and I started coming back to life again, but I had still shut the world out. So basically I'd shut my intuition out. And as you know, we all have the mom and dad blocks, and those are always fun to deal with. And they basically shut us off of our intuition, because I can remember growing up and I had my my little invisible friend that I talk to all the time. And the really interesting thing about this process is about a month ago, I realized that my invisible friend is still with me as one of my guides. Yeah, right? So we got reconnected and we laughed for a while, and yeah, it's basically one of those things where we got to tell a lot of stories, and he made fun of me and said, "Remember that time?" And I was like, "Hey, I was doing the best I could, but I just couldn't hear you at the time," right? So anyways, opening up your intuition gives you the opportunity to make choice in your life, whether you choose to be a coach or not. I just happened to be a coach. I was working with clients as a strength and conditioning specialist and have done that for 20 years. I just opened up my practice, so now I use energy as well. So I have clients that are both energy clients and strength and conditioning clients, and I have clients that are strictly strength and conditioning and clients that are strictly energy. But what that does is gives me the ability to help people wherever they are and whatever they need, if that makes sense, because it's all connected, right? Right. So I started the course to fix myself because I was pissed off. Then I thought, well, I'll fix everybody else because you're pissing me off. And now I just fix people because it's fun.
Awesome, thank you. Woo!